All right, on the men's side, you're going to hear from Life University. So Kevin and Josh are on the way up. So we'll get here in just a second. Kevin Easley, Life University.
All right, I'm going to start out. Can everybody hear me back there? All right, I'm going to start out with the story. We were getting ready to play Thomas University last year. We're sitting at Firehouse Subs, and I get a call from Don Rakowski, the head coach at Bryan College. Closer? Okay. The head coach at Bryan College at the time, and he says, hey, this is a crazy question for you, but would you like to take my best player next year? I'm like, wait a minute, your best player? So it was kind of a unique situation. So after talking with Coach Rakowski, talked with my staff, told those guys, like, you know, who's this Josh Baugher guy? Like, so with Coach, they played in our classic this year. He had a triple-double, and we told you that guy could play in our system. So as a coach, like we always do, we go to Synergy, we watch it, I saw that's a perfect fit. So Coach Rakowski talked about how unique Josh was, and he's like, I'm telling you, he's the most unique player that I have ever coached, and you'll understand when you get him. So when Josh comes, obviously he's a really talented basketball player, but it's a lot more than that. He comes in with a 4.0 grade point average, starting graduate school. I don't know if he's ever made a B. If he's not singing Adele or dancing or getting on the bus with a do-rag on, making everything light, he's just the life of the party. And I'm not going to get up here and talk about his numbers, his stats, because this guy is going to be a world changer one day. And I have the privilege of introducing to you guys Josh Baugher.
Thank you, Coach. Really appreciate those kind words. Like you said, my name is Joshua Baugher. I'm a graduate student at Life, and it's been such a blessing being there. Not just from a basketball standpoint, but also educationally and from an institutional perspective as well. But before I start my speech, I would like to thank my parents, siblings, my coaches and teammates, and as well as anyone who's invested in me over the years. Thank you, guys. Most importantly, I'd like to thank God for putting me on this path and for his mercy. My speech originally was a bit longer, but I realized I should probably make this short and sweet. So I really have one big takeaway, I guess, from my life and my career that I'd like you guys to focus on, and that's this concept of process. And what I mean by process is this idea of being invested in the present moment and doing something to the best of your ability, regardless of the result. I can remember back to when I was younger, training with my father, and he would always emphasize things that I could control, you know, like effort, footwork, even taking the right shots, rather than outcomes such as, you know, a made basket. He taught me to focus on playing the right way every time, and hopefully this shows through how I play today. This mindset has always stuck with me, and I've attempted to develop this kind of thinking in some of the younger guys on our team this year. There's one guy in particular that I often talked about, you know, playing the right way, taking open shots, and kind of living with the results, you know. I wanted him to play free. I would always tell him, you know, when he was on my team, like, I don't care if you make it or miss it, as long as you take the right shot, you know. Now, I've been telling him this for a couple weeks, and there was a specific practice I can remember where we were in, like, a heated drill, and, you know, running was on the line. I had the ball, and I skipped it over to him in the right corner, and it got tipped, but he still caught it, hit the tray ball, and, you know, we won the drill. Now, this might not seem like the biggest deal, but I was pretty pumped, you know. Not only did we not have to run, but I was able to witness the result of the consistent work my teammate had put in over the course of the season. You know, trying to play the right way, focusing on the process, and not necessarily the result. Although this point I'm trying to drive home has been extremely helpful in things like basketball, school, or working a job, I have found that that it has the most potential for impact in the spiritual life. As a Christian, I pray, go to church, I try and serve others, among other things. And I've continually discovered that when I focus on the outcome and the end of said activities, such as, getting through my prayers quick or, becoming impatient in church because I want to go check my fantasy football, I miss the point of those activities completely. They become something to check off the list. On the other hand, when I'm present and meaning the words I pray, when I'm pondering the words I sing in church, the whole experience changes for the better. I become engrossed in the process, and this leads me closer to my desired result. St. Paul writes about how today is the day of salvation, meaning we should strive to live for God now, in this moment. Not tomorrow, not last week, not next year, but right now. This is where our focus should be. I'll leave you with this closing thought. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. So why not, whether it be the next box out in basketball, the next essay you have to write for college, or the next prayer you pray, put all of your effort and energy into making the process as good as possible. And the results will take care of themselves. So, thank you.
Great job.